I'm just looking at it and I'm like, okay, do you think that and this is just an open-ended question because a lot of times the idea is that women are always ready for a commitment. Women are always built in ready for marriage and they're ready and they're just waiting for the right guy. And what I tend to see from my observation is that I always say, you know what? There's a lot of women who really aren't ready for commitment and don't want commitment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like you really have to probe in to get to understand what whether a woman really wants to have commitment. Because every woman said they're ready to be committed and be married and all that. They all say it. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
when you
true.
look at it, it's like, let me see what's up. You know, like your girl, Cheyenne Bryant, for instance. She's giving all this advice, but then she's like, I've been proposed to two or three times, and it's like, yo, you still haven't been able to like get into, and I'm not judging. Sometimes it
Of
doesn't
course.
work out. Relationships don't work out, but you see people saying they're ready for all these things, but they haven't. They don't do it. It's not rocket science to just find somebody and invest in them, I would say.
I think a lot of women say things they don't mean, just like the I want to be a mother, and then when they get the baby, they're not ready for the baby and complain. I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to be married. Like, I'm not even married, but because a lot of my family is, I see how hard it is. You have to dedicate yourself to one person forever. Cut off all the guy friends, cut off all the people that are negative, drown out the noise, be committed to your partner. And then you see a different version of that partner every year. Are you still going to love them? They're going to be a
Mhm.
different person. When you guys go through the storm, are you going to leave them or go? Your husband could lose his job. You guys could lose your house. There could be so many factors that happen. I think women like the marriage part, the ring part, and just the aspect of like, everybody look at me, look at the ring I got. Because I'm telling you, every girl that I see get married, it's not to be rude. They're married for like a year and then they're like, guys, I'm getting divorced. I'm like, damn, what happened?
I
That fact, like,
know.
I would have thought at least 5 years, a year, that was it.
Interesting thing is that when you get married, you really don't you really don't know the person. I mean, you may know the person if you were together.
Yeah.
Every relationship different, but I'm saying that you don't really get into the marriage thing. You don't really dig into it until a couple years. So like a lot of times that first 2 years you get mad at each other because the toilet seat is up or or this person
Yep.
smacks when they eat or whatever. It'd be a lot of small things. Who's gonna do the dishes and this and that. But a lot of times it's like you don't really dig into it until a couple of years. You gotta give it time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of people, younger and older, they don't want to give anything any time at all.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
like one little, that's why I say I don't think people understand things will pass. You can work through things with your partner. It's not going to be the storm forever. But I think if you have that perception and women have a perception that things are going to be happy all the time. I don't think they know how to get over things. I can say this because I'm a woman. We hold grudges so bad. We'll bring up a girl you talked to since freaking, I don't even know, the first beginning of the date. We won't know nothing about you, but we'll remember that 1 minute you fucked up. So I think a lot of us need to ease up with stuff. Because I feel like when we make a mistake, we want a man to forgive us and get over it. But when y'all make a mistake, oh no, we're gonna do this over your head every 5 seconds. And that's not healthy. So you gotta give
right?
your man like some credit sometimes. I always say don't marry somebody when you know they do a lot of things that bother you. Like if it's super lustful, if he, I don't know, talks to you crazy, if he's super cheat, like he'll cheat on you in the future, just don't marry that type of man. Like I could deal with a man who smacks. I'd rather deal with a man who smacks food and maybe watches video games. But if he's sitting here, always with other girls and all that stuff, always drinking, those are
Hmm.
things that are deal breakers for me. But girls will get with men like this and then get mad the marriage didn't work. But they married that. You knew he was a drinker.
You
You
knew
knew
it,
he clubbed
right?
every weekend. You knew this. So know who
Right,
you're
right.
marrying.
But they still want to try to fix it and make it work.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand the rushing with women. If you ever notice, they want to be married within the first 3 years, but why? I think it's better to be with somebody for a couple of years, see who they are, see that, because you can only know somebody. I think it says it takes 3 to 4 years to really know somebody, and narcissists are able to hold up a facade. So I'd rather wait after that 4 years, then get married. Because look, you're going to marry them in the first year and then see their true colors later and then be pissed that you're already stuck with them. So stop
Right.
rushing the marriage, ladies. I think you guys want the ring too bad, but I think you have all the time in the world if this is who you set your heart on.
You're right. I mean, at the end of the day, it is ideal, I would say, to at least give it a couple years to know each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, and here's the other thing too about getting divorced. The other part of it is that a lot of people, I think, the idea of getting married now, and when I say married, I'm really saying because some people don't do the legal ring and everything, and that's to each his own. But
Yeah.
as far as like being with somebody long term, one of the things I was talking about with a friend of mine the other day is that it's like people are running away from partnership. And I honestly I think it's more women running. They're running away from it. There's so many older women now who are like the Tracy Ellis Rosses, the Claudia Jordans. Um, I put Vivica Fox. You know, and I'm not knocking these women,
Yeah.
but I'm like, there's all these aunties that are like, they're not like schooling the younger women. It's almost like, and I feel like it's more of a black community thing, but I could be wrong. But I think that it's almost like they're making it seem like shameful for you to want companionship. So people are wanting girls are wanting companionship, but they're going into it with a very egotistical energy. Like if it ain't my way and it ain't the way I want to see it and it ain't perfect, I'll just wait and I'll just wait and I'll just wait and I ain't gonna settle. And I think it's such a problem because so I have a daughter. My daughter is 8, right?
Hmm.
And my son is 9. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, yo, I want to make sure I give obviously my son a certain level of manly mentality, just pragmatic thought, logical thought. And same thing for my daughter too. I think a lot of times with women, we almost assume that women will be okay. In my opinion, we really don't
Hmm.
give them conversations about how they choose their partners. I think that when women choose their partners, I think that's really the foundation of most relationships. But at the end of the day, guys will always holler at you. Guys will always try to sleep with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
They
Yes.
always will. But how the women who are good at discernment and choosing their partners, their life end up different half the time in a better way. You know
Of
what I'm saying?
course. I
So
agree.
I think that all these older women, they're kind of like, oh, it'll be okay. It's okay to be alone and be, and be older. And yeah, it's okay. But I wouldn't. What I don't understand is that I wouldn't give that advice to younger women. Like, so what do you think about that? Because I see that a lot. I see women who get older and they seem to pass down an energy to younger women. Like, it's okay to be alone. It's okay to be alone. I don't think we were meant to be that way.
Yeah, it's sometimes I think it's women's trauma though. I think when a lot of women experience a lot of cheating, some women get abused. I think they see different parts of men. Like I even see women who have stripped and danced their whole life. They see the nastier version of men, so they don't like men and they'll give that to other women. Plus, I also think it'll help them not be alone. But in reality, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all. I do believe a lot of women are going to be alone, not because of their personality sometimes and the way that they carry themselves, but there are some women who aren't like the women on social media. They might be bigger, they might not take care of themselves, they might not do things for themselves. So I do think majority of women are going to get left alone. And then the women who are traumatized out and full of trauma, I think they're going to be by themselves. Why? Because again, there's even a book I read. If not, I'll find it. There's a book I read a long time ago talking about when you're alone for too long, it messes up your mind subconsciously, that you become highly critical. That's why I think a lot of women, when they're super independent, when they get around a man, they're very mean. They're very like picky and choosy and try to critique so much. I think those women are going to end up being by themselves. Nobody wants to be with a drill sergeant. Nobody wants to be with a know it all. Remember how I said
Hmm.
give people space and let them be how they're going to be? You can give
Hmm.
them advice, but constantly critiquing somebody, and I've met a lot of women like this, even when I talk to them, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to talk to you no more. You're making my head hurt. A lot of women are giving people advice and doing this. I've watched a woman, I forget her name. She's like a dating coach, sells $2,000 courses. She's
Hmm.
doing the same thing other women are doing. Be by yourself, make your money, do this, do that. I agree with the making your money. I
Yeah.
agree having things on your own, but telling somebody to be alone for the rest of their life when women know they yearn for a partner, I don't think a lot of women like to be alone. I know some women do because I was by myself for a while and it was
Sure.
peaceful, man. I can't sit
Sure.
here and say I didn't love it. Being by myself for 3 years was probably the best thing I've ever experienced. It's
Yeah.
peaceful. I don't know. You get to do whatever you want. You don't have to check in with nobody. So I do see that. But on the
Yeah.
other hand of that, you do at one point want a family. You do at one point do want something. I think women tell themselves that because the men they come across are not good for them. So maybe subconsciously they want to say that. I don't think anybody's going to come on here and cry to the internet and say they want a partner because they get crucified. Look at all the girls
Yeah.
that cry and say, guys, what do I do? I'm 40 and by myself. They're like, well, you're used up. You're this. That's why nobody could be honest no more. Everybody's shaming each other for little things. You shouldn't shame somebody for crying about stuff like that. That is sad. Being
That's
40
true.
and 50 and no partner, no kids ever. That is kind of sad. I wouldn't make fun of nobody for that.
No, I agree with that too. I mean, I don't think that we should shame them, but I think that to your point, and you said some good things there in relation to in relation to the running across the wrong guys. I think a lot
Hmm.
of that what I hope for a lot of women is that they they interject with new thought earlier on. So if you run across the wrong guys, you got to start thinking about your choices. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of power in your choice. It's not that God is just going to drop the right man on you, or you're just gonna, it's always like it's not about your choice. There's just going to be something that's just put in your path. And yeah, there's a part of that you could look at that, but part of the destiny of what's in your path is part of your choices make up that too. You know what I'm saying? So
Yup.
I look at it and I say, okay, cool. So once you get older, if that didn't work out, I think, and again, maybe I'm being idealistic. I think it's the duty of the auntie. If as even as a man, if I'm, 50, 55 or whatever it is, and I'm like, yo, I'm alone. Yeah, it's okay to be alone. I remember before I got married, I was single for a couple, maybe 2 years, and I had yeah, my own space, my apartment. It was just, you do what you want, and that
Yup.
piece is good, but I'm not wearing it as a badge for my whole life. I think that part is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? So,
Agreed.
and I don't know why it seems like it's pushed more on women than it is on men, you know?
Yeah. It's
So,
I would say it's harder though. Like even as long as I've been doing this since 2017, and like
mhm,
when I first started my platform, I was in a relationship and I would talk about these things, and it's not easy to digest. If you're a person, I always say this, if I make a video about relationships or like critiquing women, if they don't see themselves in me, they're going to hate me. That's why girls watch baddies. That's why girls watch girls who tote guns and do crazy stuff. Not to be disrespectful, but black women are very hard to coach. They don't listen. They want to have their own mindset. Oh, well, why do you get to talk about this? And who do you think it's very hard to coach women who don't want to listen to you. And if they
mhm,
don't see themselves in you, they're not going to listen to you. I've tried talking to so many different women. If a woman doesn't come to me and ask me for advice, I do not go my own way and just give them advice. Because again,
right.
then it's a whole speech on, damn, who are you? And okay, I was just trying to help.